ago, it's okay. I don't really care about the Fanny. There were just so many solutions. Even the Kufra was completely ignored from GPX. So it feels like, based on this draft, Euphoria, they need to switch it up here for game number 1. But here, a little bit of a recap on how things looked like in the previous game. That is pretty much the early starting bans coming from game number 1. Joy going to be a priority. Arlord also going to be a priority as well. Game 2 needs to be changed coming in from Euphoria.
Well, GPX answered the question, what if you see a Fanny first pick while you have an entire draft that shut the Fanny down? And you see Euphoria Esports once more staying on the blue side and GPX on red, so not much difference right here. And obviously this was the draft from game number 1, so do not be alarmed. We are in for a fresh one. And I think if you are Euphoria, we are looking for a change. Game 1 strat didn't work out. I think it's time to play a more classic game of Mobile Legends.
Yeah, this is where things get a little bit difficult for the teams to actually adapt, right? Like, yeah, the Fanny was a little bit cheesy as well. We saw a couple of Fanny games winning over the week as well. Fanny has been in the situation where it was nerf, it was buff, it was nerf, it was buff. But it has reached to a stage where a lot of things can actually deal with the Fanny now, and players are getting smarter over the years on how to deal with the Fanny. So in this case, itemizations will be very, very good to actually deal with Fanny. Dominance of Ice has been buffed up a little bit here to reduce attack speed. Doesn't really affect the Fanny too much, but it is a way to deal with it. I feel like Dreadnought Armor is still one of the strongest defensive items out there, which is one of the reasons why tank meta is so relevant compared to any other heroes or item choices, just because of how bang for buck it is. 850 gold gets you reduced attack power of your opponent every time they cast a physical skill.
Oh yeah.
As compared to a Radiant Armor, which doesn't have a lower counterpart.
Oh yeah, and I think it's just the efficiency that GPX has been able to really bring out. On that ban side, we see Euphoria now taking out both the Valentina and the Martis. A lot of respect for both Kribu and Ray, but it still doesn't really solve the problem. Maybe you open up the Fanny once more, though I don't think it's going to be what they're looking for. Kaja banned out last by GPX, so Fredrin this time will be let through.
Well, do they prioritize on that? Because as of yet, Faramis was banned in the previous game. This time, Euphoria Esports will prioritize that as a first pick coming from Euphoria Esports. No Fanny, no problem. GPX, however, do they want to bring in the Fanny themselves? Because as of yet, we haven't seen too much coming in from him. But at the same time, like you said as well, with the Fredrin up for grabs, GPX, do they want to place textbook Fredrin for themselves and also the Valentina as an opening? But with the Valentina ban this time means there is options for a potential 1, Kadita, 2, Eve in the pool for GPX. But it seems like they don't care about the Eve. They are going to go for the Farsa instead to deal with the Cult Altar. This reminds me of the previous series draft. But they don't go for the Fredrin. They go for the Grok instead. Okay.
Well, you have basically a brick wall to defend this Farsa. You prevent any sort of dive from Euphoria Esports. So GPX just directly addressing the farmers without compromising this Farsa. They basically, multiple layers of defense of GPX so well thought through in this first 2 picks. And for Euphoria, now you look at the rest of the draft and you think to yourself, how are you going to deal with the Grok? So they are going to start playing Classic again, go back to the Fredrin, go back to the Beatrix, something that is very common and you don't really have to worry about too many nuances.
Yeah, I'm surprised GPX, they completely let the Fredrin, right? Considering that Martis is pretty much banned, there are not a lot of jungle S-tier picks left for GPX. And based on this situation, they picked up the Grok, they picked up Farsa. There is an opportunity for them to actually pick the Fanny right here, right now, and start banning off all the counterparts. And in this case, it feels like they should, but besides that, what's a good matchup against Fredrin in the jungle? Because as of yet, I think Barat is pretty okay, but it doesn't have the mobility that they have. He does have the tankiness a Fredrin provides, but it feels like it's weird. It's weird that GPX just letting it off at the hook in the air right now.
It could be a link angle also, right, for GPX. So when you look at Assassins.
Yeah, it could be land slot, tank slot coming from GPX. So that's something that I guess they want to waste bans from Euphoria Esports just to commit for this. But no, this is smart. They ban off the Archive, which is something that GPX has been known to use for as well. Heavy Spin completely disrupts the Cult Altar and the Fredrin at the same time. I like this smart ban coming from Euphoria.
Yeah, definitely did their homework. No, for GPX, they take out the glue, focusing on that XP lane a bit more. And I guess for GPX, they are, again, like game 1, not too worried about what Euphoria has so far. The fact that they picked the Melissa in as response to the Beatrix just shows how much emphasis they're putting on what for this game too.
Yeah, at the same, I think they should just go, okay, Atlas being bad. I was expecting maybe they would let that slide as well. I don't think Atlas was a big threat coming from Euphoria Esports. They need some more wombo combos to actually deal with it. So I guess they don't really want to force pick the Digi towards their draft for GPX. But I'm curious here. Jungler-wise, it feels like Paquito jungle is pretty good. I want to see whether or not GPX brings in the Freya jungle. But oh, interesting. Euphoria Esports, they ban off the Hanzo. And interesting enough, we've seen roaming Hanzo before in the other MPL regions in the early weeks of MPL, but so far not many teams or players can play it because it is a very risky, unique playstyle where you're forced to dive back line. So jungle or roaming Hanzo with a tank slot is pretty scary, but I don't think GPX was thinking about that direction, but Euphoria definitely overthinking for this draft.
And now you see the Yuzhong, just another great front line, and this time GB having Farsa to deal with the Cow Altar. Now you have this Black Dragon who is just going to infiltrate that backline and really make the life of Shizo incredibly hard, especially when he's on this Beatrix. And with that Yuzhong pick, you basically keep that jungle hidden for GPX. He gets to see what Euphoria has to offer before making that choice.
Oh, I like this. I like this. But they do get the Benedetta up for Euphoria Esports. They do have a very, very solid draft. But GPX now, final jungle, is it going to be the Fanny? Because as of yet, if he goes for a Fanny pickup, only the Fredrin and Faramis can stop him. And so far, it's not too bad for him to actually go for the Fredrin right here, right now. Yes, you are going to lose out a lot of tankiness sustainability, but you're not going to lose out in terms of snowball potential. And this game, if GPX gets the early snowball, they will be able to win. But the question is, what if Fanny doesn't go well in their favor? Because if they were to fall back in playing B, Yuzhong doesn't necessarily is the tankiest hero, nor is the Grok. But looks like it is going to be a high risk, high reward gamble coming from GPX, going for the final Fanny pickup.
And saving that for last, I suppose.
This is how you draft a Fanny, man. You don't first pick it.
GPX showing how it's done. You know, see the full draft of your enemies, then you decide whether Fanny is a good fit.
I like it. I like that GPX is playing really, really smart this game. But can they execute it is going to be a completely different story. Because GPX, they showed they don't need hard counters. They will still have a way to deal with the Fanny. Meanwhile, Euphoria Esports, do they have the tools to deal with this Fanny? Because as of yet, based on this draft, GPX seems to be the stronger opponent in game number 2.
I feel like strong is an understatement. They are overwhelming after game 1. And actually, that was a question I wanted to ask as well, right? Does Euphoria have the necessary tools to stop this Fanny? You know, as compared to game 1, GPX have plenty of ways to prevent this Fanny from functioning, but Euphoria seems like they don't have as much.
It's scary. Compared to game 1, GPX definitely had a little bit more room to work with. But with this game, hopefully it is going to be a little bit better, because game 2 in the upper brackets, Euphoria Esports going up against GPX, with GPX taking the first game, and now into his game number 2, Euphoria Esports risking being eliminated.
RevoluQT again, just forcing out those retributions of Vanguard and just playing a lot of that harassment. This Grok. Just complete madness, keeping Ray safe. Euphoria can't really give the same treatment over to the Fanny.
Oh boy, this is where things get a little bit spicy as well. From Euphoria Esports, do they mirror what GPX is doing? Do they completely dodge his Fanny is going to be the question. But interesting now, GPX, they started things off for the orange buff first. There is going to be a little bit more room for him once he gets the second purple buff. Is where when he tries to go for a contest in total, and if Euphoria tries to take that early 20-second window, they are going to get punished for this. But as of yet, RevoluQT is going to get a little bit more of a harassment. But for now, it seems like if GPX, they're hoping to punish the XP lane this time. But this is a Benedetta we're talking about with the Petrify, so it's going to be difficult to do so.
And RevoluQT again, just running interference, trying to find out where the Fredrin is. There is an attempt from Vanguard to go into the jungle of GPX, but he's not able to do much. So Ray is going to hit that level 4, ready to make a splash in the top side. Shizogod knows that this Fanny might be coming, So he's gonna be really far back. He's gonna wait for the first turtle. Ray, he just goes for it! Shizu got brought down low.
Oh my goodness, that was huge as well. But at the same time, he's gonna force the recall back because bottom turtle is gonna be up for grabs, and Ray doesn't have the purple buff to do so. Euphoria dropping everything, and this is gonna be the turtle's guaranteed secure for Euphoria. And this is the 20-second window I'm talking about. And GPX, they know for a fact that they cannot contest this.
And just Euphoria making the right call as well, taking advantage of the fact that this Fanny is not dead. It's a flicker into a war charge. My goodness! Fredo QT almost getting the kill onto Ryujin God, even forcing the Cold Ultra out.
Oh boy, he had no choice but to pop the Gold Ultra, knowing that the residue shots coming from Yujong might have killed him. So that was a good app play coming from Euphoria Esports, but as of yet, they're doing surprisingly so much better compared to game number 1. And you can see the confidence is coming in because eventually, as long as they don't give unnecessary kills to Ray, they are going to be A-OK because eventually Fanny is going to fall off. But with that being said, Headsguard is going to back off and he's going to bait the Fanny at the Electro final blow to get out of safety. But so far, GPX not getting the snowball that they are looking for.
And Kribu actually clears out the mid-wave. So, all things considered, this is an even game so far. Vanguard making sure that he is keeping track with Ray. In fact, ahead in experience thanks to the earlier turtle take. Euphoria Esports having 4 men on the top side. Fredo QT is going to check. That is the target that Euphoria don't want to jump on.
Oh, this is very, very scary here coming from GPX. They need to find a way to get more kills because as of yet, Euphoria is just playing into their hands. And all Euphoria does is need right now is just buy time. We don't really care about winning the early game. We just need to stall. And that's exactly what they're getting at. GPX, however, starting to get a little bit desperate looking for kills because as of yet, Ray, he's going to get caught out and he's dead. That's going to be first blood for Euphoria Esports. Oh my goodness, you hate to see moments like this. Oh, you hate to see it. Ah, it hurts.
A bit of overconfidence from Ray also. I mean, Headsguard having the Petrify, so that's making life so much easier. Way better start for Euphoria, being able to stop this Fanny. And now Ray forced to try to secure the purple buff. This turtle most likely would go over to Euphoria. Fredo QT trying his best to run interference, but I don't think GPX can get this. No way that's gonna happen.
Oh my goodness, imagine if Fredo QT had the wall charge, cancels the timing, gets the last swipe at the last moment, and actually steals it away. That would be a great denial from GPX. However, Euphoria, with that one kill, is gonna give them the confidence to start to get objectives across the map. But now, we're about to hit the 5-minute mark. This is where the gold plating is going to be irrelevant to defend against his tier 1s. Meanwhile, GPX has yet to make a play yet.
Yeah, GPX, while Euphoria so far able to hold GPX back. Now, sent in that Lolita. Ziri coming right in. Black Dragon form use as well. The codes are completely busted by Kribu. GPX pouncing on Euphoria Esports. Ray with the cable just creating so much interference to get the kill on the Yoshi. But Shizo's able to strike back to get rid of Fredo QT. Ziri not able to do much. Euphoria and GPX trade 1 for 1.
Oh, great connection coming from GPX as well. But the question here is, even though they're getting all this kind of damage, you can see that Euphoria Esports, they have the damage to threaten GPX just because they have this Count Altar, which gives them a lot of temp HP. Meanwhile, GPX, yes, they have the damage to shred through it, but then what? Can they tank the sustainabilities of what Euphoria Esports brings to the table? You've got Freddy so tanky, but look at this. Rex, Ray, he was able to chip down Benedetta, but then what? Because top side is going to be engagement coming in, and they're split apart. They were able to get a trade. That's huge.
And then Ray just able to buy time, distract 2 members of Euphoria also. Ziri able to spot Vanguard. They want to get rid of the purple buff, but GPX have a full squad here, so Vanguard now in a very, very bad spot. The wall blocks them off. Vanguard needing help. The call-outs are coming in just in time and pulling the members of GPX back, and that's what the Benedetta has been looking for. Headsguard with a double kill to stop GPX.
Oh, huge play coming from Eugene God, and now he's gonna go for more, and Fredo QT is dead, and that's gonna be Vanguard with a huge outplay against GPX. And GPX just completely shattered with that play. They thought they had Vanguard, but it was the Count Altar to set things apart to help them save the day. GPX, oh, the desperation starting to kick in, and the thirstiness coming in as well. But now Yoshi God popping the Numenon Blast out top. What? He does have to go away, and there's no way they're gonna kill him off. And now Yoshi got his stuck.
Locked up into a wall charge. Ray ends up going down. Shizuko just destroys him with 2 shots. GPX feeling the wrath of Euphoria this time. Still want to go for more. Euphoria forcing GPX away, and he'll give them tier 1.
Oh my goodness, Euphoria just keeping things alive from the Philippines side. In this case, 5k net worth advantage to GPX. They need to find a way to actually stop them, and as of yet, face checking that, not necessarily a good idea. But with this Frederick coming in, it is going to be huge. Bottom side hits, just doing a fantastic job cutting the creep wave and zoning GPX.
And Ray's given the same treatment from game 1, like what they did to Venogod. The airstrike used again, wall charge, knockout, backline, compromise, hit guard, able to just get away on this Benedetta. GPX protecting this tier 2, and the call Alta also keeping the rest of Euphoria alive. The fact that no one went down is good news for Euphoria.
Oh my goodness, this is good for GPX, right? They're able to bait out a count Altar, but at the same time, Black Dragon is one of the longest cooldowns of ultimates here. That means it's also good for Euphoria Esports, so it doesn't actually do anything. Whereas, as we at GPX, what they need to do is buy Ray doing space, but Euphoria is, like you said as well, doing the exact same thing of how they were treated in game 1. And because of this, GPX is in a backseat where they need to play catch-up. But for how long and to when? Because as of yet, I don't think they can actually make a comeback, especially when they need some way to kill off Renegade, one of the strongest, most tankiest heroes in the current meta.
Yeah, and I don't think they have the items just yet. Not enough damage. Orange Ball taken away. Preempt Numenon Blast to keep GPX out of that jungle. You can see the damage starting to build up for Shizogod as well. So GPX feeling a bit more pressure. Wall charge. Feather airstrike, forcing the flicker out of Ryujin. Ziri can't really follow up with Black Dragon.
Oh my goodness, this is huge for Euphoria Esports right now. With no Black Dragon means they can go run and rampant. Bottom side, Ray, with the cables coming in without purple buff, he's trying his best, but there's only so much he can do. And the Lord already in the hands of Euphoria Esports. GPX, no intention to contest that at all. And it's probably another purple buff bending denied for this Fanny. Euphoria just completely starving Ray this game.
6,000 goal advantage for Euphoria Esports. 9.5 minutes in a complete lead. All top 3 net worth belong to Euphoria Esports. The Lord pushing down bottom, and that's where Venogod is as well. Ray will be waiting to cut to intercept the Lord, but Euphoria Esports, they should be able to get this mid tier 2 creep, losing this majority of his health bar to that one snipe. Now get into a safe spot. Better airstrike cancel early thanks to Euphoria Esports pushing forward.
Oh, it's so hard. The comeback mechanic coming in from GPX is gotta be the Melissa from WOD, but with the shields coming in from this Lolita, it's gonna be even harder for them to make a comeback. And for Esports, they've just got all fronts covered, and so far, it comes down to whether or not Yujong gets the perfect catch, but as you can see on the bottom side,
onto Venogod.
Oh my god!
Just saving it again in the last second! And that's going to allow him to get the ton off. The wall charge is dead. And get rid of Ray. Ziri is in front. They get the knockout. Wombo combo is around. Finally, GPX finds an answer. A response that they've been longing to find. 2 kills for Ziri. Keeping that base alive. But all things considered, Euphoria still got the top inhibitor.
Oh my goodness. Venogod 0 to nothing. Dropping Ray from 100 to 1 HP with 1 Appraisal's Wrath. Turn things around. Just not making it easy for Ray. But as I said as well, GPX's comeback is going to be up to Ziri, and as of yet, he's doing a fantastic job and dishing out damage. But eventually, the question here is, if he goes damage, who is going to be the front liner? Because as of yet, there's only so much Fredo he can do. He's only got the the Hunter Strike and the Dominance Eyes up on GPX. That means there's not a lot of damage coming from Ziri, but eventually he's pretty much the only one that can actually peel through the defense of Euphoria Esports. And that's a big problem because with a Yujong only, without the assist of this Melissa, things are not going to look the way GPX is.
And we also see GPX really trying to make this Fanny work. Ray was able to at least push out that bottom wave. But you just look at the level differential. Venogod is 2 levels ahead of Ray. He's about to hit 15 also. And Euphoria so far has been in full control. More up in 30 seconds. GPX positioning on the top side, but they are not able to contest with Euphoria.
Oh boy, this is very, very scary. You can see that Ray, he has the proper ball of this type. Fortunately, he lost a lot so far, but he's so bottom in the pack in terms of net worth. He needs to find a way to make space, and Euphoria, every single time, they know that Ray is off the other side of the map. Headguard is going to be in a position where, hey, I'm going to clear the minions, but this time they're calling in Ray to actually go for a solo kill, and this time with the Pro Bomber, he was able to outplay Headsguard, and this is huge because this is going to allow GPX a little bit room to go in for the split push, but Euphoria Esports, they're debating. Do they force a Lord fight or do they go down to defense? Because as of yet, GPX, they haven't shown where the Fanny is.
And Egoist is gonna flicker in to get the wall charge, forcing Rujin God to get out. Ziri popping the Black Dragon, the Luminon Blast, not hitting onto anyone. Yoshi God even flickering for that. Euphoria forcing GPX out of that Lord pit, and now they're back on that Lord. His got up in 3 seconds.
Oh, so smart coming from GPX. This is so smart. This is exactly what they need as well. Using out all those ultimates, they have the numbers advantage, but at the same time, they need to buy time. And because as of yet, Ray hasn't shown his hands and they don't really know how much HP is. He comes for the steal, but no! Euphoria secures it instead. Oh, so close. So close.
Barely keeping themselves in this game. GPX with heroics from Ray. And he did so much to shut down this Benedetta, but at the end, Euphoria just mounted a very, very impenetrable defense. Lord coming in top side as well. And GPX, can they stop any more inhibitors from falling to Euphoria?
Oh, this is the problem about having a triple tank composition, right? Pay attention to items as well. Because Euphoria Esports, 3 heroes playing tank items, GPX only has 2. And Jong Grok, not necessarily the strongest players to open up the map. You've got Frederick, you've got Lolita to deal with. It's going to be very, very difficult to do so. But bottom side, oh, Ray getting a bit cheeky with the catch on Shizu. Unfortunately, not going to be able to do that enough. But is it enough to scare him off?
Trying to defend the bottom inhibitor, but there's just enough damage from Euphoria to get the job done. Lord will be taken out by what? So GPX still keeps that mid inhibitor alive, but they need to do a bit more. Ray just going in. Forcing a bit of that flicker out. Fredo QT already expanding their wall charge. They need to keep this mid inhibitor alive, but Euphoria will get rid of it nonetheless. Looking for a potential game 3. Ziri popping that Black Dragon and going for the engage. Trying to just push Euphoria out of the way. Ziri doing his absolute best, but Euphoria, I think they will stay for a bit longer, and all the ways have been cleared out by GPX.
You can see Ziri, he could have went straight into hands of Shizuka and tried to get the punish, but because of the fact of how Shizu is doing so much damage, he was just so afraid of getting shot by those snipers. He's always dodging side by side, and because of that, he's not able to get in range to actually catch off Shizu God, and this is a big problem because Shizu needs to die first for Euphoria to actually lose a potential fight. And as of yet, GPX, they're getting forced in.
Luminon Blast used, Feather Airstrike also cancelled. They got the flicker out of Kribu, but Fredo QT, he's not the brick wall that he thought he was in game 1. This is not a game that he can just stand there and soak up all the damage. Ray finally hitting 15 after so long. But the next Lord is going to be the be-all end-all, and Euphoria just needs to wait out the time and keep GPX in their base.
It's tough, it's tough. Shizu God, he just got his Has Claw as well. As you can see, based on his items here, he's full max slotted. Same can be said for the Melissa, but eventually it needs a little bit more room to work with because as of yet, Jong nowhere close to his next item as well. He just got his steel leggings for himself. Grok is nowhere near full slotted to actually contest when it comes to face-checking bushes against Vanguard, against maybe even the Lolita as well. So this is going to be a problem for GPX, and eventually it all comes down to buying even more time. And it all comes down to Ray. Whether or not can he get the outplay once again. He's going to try!
Better airstrike use! Hit God, just get away! Backup coming though. Fredo QT is around. They also have Watt playing in that brush. That's going to spot out Vanguard the least. Euphoria not losing his God this time is huge because Lord has just spawned.
Yeah, great game sense coming from GPX, but this time they need to secure the purple buff, but it will be denied. But they do Frost Retribution from Euphoria Esports.
Fellow QT using the wall charge, trying to flicker away, but he's gonna get picked up by Ryujin God. Huge isolation for Euphoria, and Ray cannot stay in his jungle. He needs to be able to cut the waves as much as possible. GPX, they need to buy time, but it's 23 seconds and Euphoria have more than enough time to get this Lord.
This is tough. God, he's got about 6 seconds before his Retribution comes in, so the timing needs to be crucial, but Ray nowhere to be found, so it is going to be a lot easily taken from the side of Euphoria Esports. So GPX plays a little bit slow, but it all comes down to split pushing once again. But as of yet, GPX, they're sending Ray to shove down bottom lane, but Euphoria says, we don't care about a Fanny. What can a Fanny do? Because as of now, Euphoria is looking to close out this game with the Lord pushing down in the middle lane. It's going to be a tough defense. GPX, they have to throw bodies for this in order to defend against this, and it is going to be close.
Wave not really synchronized, so GPS can clear out the mid wave first. Ziri gone on to leap away. The Grok Wall is going to delay this Lord, but that's going to allow the top wave to crash in while losing half of his health. And there it is, Euphoria throwing the full weight on GPX. Creeple flickering away. Euphoria going straight for the Crystal. GPX do have damage to stop them though. The Crystal dropping very low. The Lord doing a lot of work, but look at Ray. Straight down the middle lane. They get rid of the farmers. They get rid of the Lord. GPX holding the fort. 3 kills over to GPX. Euphoria cannot end the game just yet.
Oh my goodness, they have to throw bodies. In this case, GPX, they threw their bodies at Euphoria Esports. Chicken out at the last moment. They completely backed out just because of a big petrified catch coming from Ziri. And instead of going for the Crystal, they backed out. And this is going to buy GPX a little bit more time to come back into this game. Oh my goodness, you hate to see moments like this. But it is moments like this that makes or break people. In this case, GPX giving a little bit room to make the comeback. Hopefully, with this small room, they are able to even the score.
Finally, taking the mid-tier 15 minutes. Big sigh of relief, more space to move around on the map. 80 seconds until the next Lord. And they've just cashed in, I believe, a 4,000 to 5,000 goal swing for GPX. They're not in the lead just yet, but they've definitely diminished the advantage that Euphoria got.
Yeah, it does give a little bit more room for both the Yujong and Fredo QT to open up the map a little bit more. And this is very important, especially when Ziri, the Yujong, needs to be able to buy enough time for both Kribu and Watt to do his own thing. And that's exactly why Euphoria Esports is starting to respect the Yujong. And as of yet, Divine Glaive up on Rujin God is huge for him. But as long as GPX doesn't clump up as 5, it is going to be hard for Euphoria to clean out the game, whereas GPX, they have to just kill either Ryujin or Shizu and the game will be in the bag, because as of yet, with the top tier 2 up for grabs, Euphoria Esports, they're losing even more map control now.
And that's all a cascading effect from that mid tier 1 getting taken away. And just props to Ray. He was 0-4 at the start of the game, and now still 2-4. Doesn't have a positive KD, but he's keeping this Fanny relevant. He's able to find these spaces around the map, just making sure that Euphoria Esports have to constantly deal with him. GPX, now we have to contest this Lord. Euphoria going for big wraparound.
Oh boy, this is going to be huge as well. Ray, he's not going for a tank build, so he's going to be easy to be kicked off as well, because Euphoria driving the back line to kill Kribu.
Kribu going down. This is going to be huge. GPX, can he do the damage? What is going ham? Still holding to the Inspire. Ziri already using the Black Dragon. Euphoria being able to keep Yoshi God alive is massive. Now, with Kribu out for 35 seconds, Euphoria have a huge window to go on the Lord.
Oh, this is huge for This is huge for Euphoria Esports here. No Fasa, no problem. But the problem here is they bait out the Black Dragon, but they don't have Count Alta to actually risk this as well, because Ray, so extremely annoying, threatening purple buff. That means they will have to secure both sides of purple buff, but top side!
He missed the cable!
Oh no, Ray,
can't go
he might
down
be
like
dead.
this. His God looking for him. Ray doesn't have the energy.
Oh!
That's away in the last second, Ray.
Oh no, Ray.
Is this how it is? The Lord is already gone. Ray needs to survive this. Backup coming in. Fredo QT can't reach him in time. Euphoria now have a chance to close out the game.
Oh my goodness, baiting out the Retribution, baiting out his life, and his God finally clutches a dub against him. And with 40 seconds down on the sidelines and the Lord pushing in, the lanes also shoved in. Euphoria Esports, they are going to look to threaten this as well. Ziri still has the Black Dragon, and once again, they have to throw bodies for this defense. And Euphoria Esports, they know they have to, and they've got immortalities to do so, and they will potentially clash into them.
GPX have defended their base once. Can they do it again? Ray is 20 seconds out. There's too much time. Ziri, Black Dragon now. Lord crashing in. They gotta keep the Lord away. What? Going ham with the Inspire. His God in the back line. What? Getting gone on. Petrify. Numenon Blast. He is out of this one. Euphoria looking for a game tree, and I think they've got it. This series goes the distance in the upper bracket. Exactly what we asked for. Euphoria delivered what we wanted.
Oh boy, this is just them pouring their hearts and soul in this game. But Euphoria definitely came up clutch in this game so far. Fanny not having the time of their lives from both games so far, but definitely from the side of GPX played a much, much better game despite losing game number 2. But all in all, a dub is still a dub, and Euphoria keeps things alive for the Filipino teams and the fans as they hope to continue their domination in the upper brackets. But in case you missed out the match as well, this is pretty much a highlight of how game 2 went. Euphoria Esports just completely shutting down Ray in every single front in terms of contesting the purple bar, but eventually it came down to final moments where Euphoria Esports finally finds a little bit mistakes, especially coming from Ray, and Hate Gods comes in clutch, denying the potential kill threat of GPX Esports, allowing them to finally close out this game.
And this is the first loss that GPX has experienced throughout the entirety of the challenge stage. In the hands of Euphoria Esports, we're looking for a team that can leave a mark on GPX, and we have found one right here in the upper bracket semi-finals. This series is not done just yet, and GPX finally have met their match.
Yep, 21 minutes in towards game number 2, and so far today's matches has been extremely long and intense between all the teams when the bragging rights are on the line, the fight for the highest prize pool on the line as well. And so far upper brackets first finals is going to be wider all both of these teams here. Euphoria